Hi, excuse me. Hi, this is Trepacer. Welcome to Trepacer's Saturday Horror Reviews. And the movie that I watched last night, fell asleep before I could record the video for it, is Dario Argentino. I've been watching his movies in his three picture collection. And I watched 2 weeks ago The Cat o' Nine Tails, Deep Red last week, and this week I watched Inferno. And this story is basically about a young woman who stumbles upon a mysterious diary that she buys from an antique dealer called The Three Mothers. Supposedly, it's written by an architect about these three sisters that control the world and control all evil. Okay, and her name is Rose Elliott, and you see her, investigating, and she thinks that the building that she lives in New York, and the building she lives in, she thinks is the house houses one of the three mothers. Okay, and she writes a letter after a harrowing experience. She writes her brother a letter, who's studying music in Rome, her brother Mark, and telling her to come, telling her about the book. But he doesn't get to read it in class. He actually gets distracted by a beautiful woman in class and leaves the note. And his friend, who was sitting next to him, she reads the note, and she actually goes and goes to the library, and she starts reading about the three mothers and investigating it when suspicious things start happening to her. And okay, and then the brother actually gets a call from his friend, and he goes to investigate her. And I don't want to spoil exactly what happens to his friend, but he winds up going to New York to eventually getting the letter from his sister and going to New York to investigate. Yeah. Now, this movie is Inferno is very weird. Now, I read a little bit about that. This is supposed to be sort of a sequel to Suspiria, which I haven't seen. So maybe if I see that first, this one would make a little bit more sense to me. Okay, I got the general gist of it that this is supposed to be about, the three mothers, these three evil forces, the three that live in three different cities, and this woman stumbles upon, reading the book and starts to investigate it, and then weird things start to happen to her, and then she writes a letter to her brother, who he starts investigating, and he doesn't get the letter at first. His friend gets it, and she starts investigating, and weird things start happening to her, and then the brother eventually gets the letter and goes to New York to where his sister lives at, to investigate, to find her, and investigate the weird goings on, and it's a very weird, very weird movie, and the fact that uh, it doesn't, you're kind of waiting for, I think, in a way, for all this to come together in a way to me, and it kind of doesn't. I mean, they have the little subplots involved in it, but it doesn't come together like I think I wanted it to, and the ending to me is just plain not stupid, but it doesn't make sense to me. The ending, okay, and I think it would have been better if if I don't want to spoil it, but I think it would have been a better movie if the brother and sister actually, you know, they actually showed them. Uh, I don't want to spoil. I'm going to spoil it by saying this, but so I'm not going to say it. But I think it would have been a better movie if the brother and sister had more contact with each other. That's what I want to say, without spoiling. Okay, I think if the brother and sister had more contact, it would have been a better movie. I think, and if it was more, I guess, I can the basic plot of these three evil sisters, ruling all evil and stuff. And I think it would have been better. And people stumbling upon that secret would have been a good, good horror movie. And them trying to prevent it from happening. And then of course people getting killed by the wayside. And don't get me wrong, they had some good kills in there, except for one kill that takes place in a lake. Okay, which was was dragged out way too long. It was really overly silly. But other than that, the kills were okay, but it just didn't grab me the way I expected it to. I expected it to, I guess, come together more. I guess in the end, I guess I wanted it to be more, I guess, more linear, if that makes sense. I guess for people who've seen it. Okay, it just seems sort of, things happen and then other random things happen, but it didn't come together like I wanted it to, I guess, in the end. Okay, so Inferno just wasn't the ticket for me. And like I said, maybe I have to see Suspiria first too, as well, just to kind of make sense, because I read that Suspiria is more, this is Inferno is kind of a sequel in a way to Suspiria, which I haven't seen. Okay, so overall, I'm going to give it, like I said, and the guy that played Mark, Lee McCloskey, is a well-known actor. I mean, he's been in, I think, Dallas, and I think he's been in a couple of soap operas and stuff. And his character is not that interesting, to be honest. His sister, her character, I think was interesting, and I wish she would have been in the movie more. Okay, I think her character was interesting and stuff, but I wish she was in the movie more. Okay, and the randomness of his of Mark's friend, reading the letter that he left behind, and then all of it, she just starts investigating it. This was sort of weird that she just picked up his letter, and his letter, personal letter that sister wrote to him, and she just happens to read it. Okay, instead of just returning it to him. But I guess I can put up with that. But that just seemed kind of random that she would do that. But uh, overall, I'm gonna give Inferno. Eh, I'm gonna give it a 6.5, and that's mostly because the horror aspects of it were good. It didn't come together to me in the perfect way that I expected it to be, I guess. So I'm gonna give it a 6.5. Out of all the three movies that I saw, Cat o' Nine Tails to me was the best. It was just a better movie, I think, because of Carl Malden, who was in it, and I think James Franciscus was in it as well. And that story was made sense in a way, better sense to me. Okay, so out of these three, Cat o' Nine Tails I think is the best. Okay, so that's my review of Inferno. Okay, and I'm going to try to get more of Dario Argentino films. Okay, they didn't have any point of view. Actually, they didn't have any point of view killer. No, not as much in this movie. They didn't have that much. In the other two movies, they had more point of view. They kind of actually show you the point of view of the killer. Actually, I think they did actually in this movie. Yeah, they did actually show you the point of view of the killer in this movie, because I think that's one of his styles. But I think they did show in this movie. Anyway, 6.5 for me. It was kind of a disappointment. It didn't like flow together to me in a linear fashion, I guess, which I kind of wanted to, or maybe that was just my expectation of it. Okay. Anyway, let me know what you think. Feel free to leave comments down below. This is Trepacer saying so long and take care.